Yeah, he wrote down the
Finally
entire
get to play
list,
it.
and then at the bottom he's like, I'm forgetting a card. What am I missing? Oh yeah, the most obvious card that I should be playing. I'm going to write it in all caps. No, I don't know if he actually forgot,
I
but
don't
it
know
just
that
seemed
either.
kind of funny because it is. Everything else is written normal and then Brainstorm all caps.
Looks like we're starting out. It leads with the Tundra.
Yeah, so we have Justin on the left with the tempo list. And does he have a turn 1 Delver? Doesn't appear so. Ponder from Justin. Besides the mana base, it's looking a little like standard. Right? Ponder, looking for a Delver.
It looks like he saw Tropical Force, and I didn't see the third one. He kind of moved it
Yeah, I
away.
didn't quite catch it.
He's definitely doing some pondering. He likes them.
Yep. All right, so did he not? He just misses land drop even after that ponder.
Looks like there's
some discussion about that.
Yeah.
He may have.
May have just accidentally said go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He might have done.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he had a discard.
oh, okay, yeah. He forgot to play land, said go, and had to discard. Yeah, that's. I don't know if he forgot to play land, but I'm assuming he saw a second land in that alphabet ponder.
Yeah, there he goes.
So
He had another land somewhere on there.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things that I guess just being nervous in front of the camera happens.
You're thinking you're done.
Yeah.
Go. Oh yeah, play a land.
Yeah.
And we have Wasteland from Peter. Takes out the Tropical Island. And Justin has a second one. So far, mostly lands.
A lot of land go.
Action, yeah. All right.
Brainstorm in all
Peter
caps.
with a better ponder. Yeah, Peter just wrote his brainstorm in normal letters, but Justin's brainstorms are all caps. Don't know if that means they function differently, but maybe he just slams it on the table. I'm gonna brainstorm.
I hope so. That's how I'm gonna start casting brainstorms.
Windmill slam the brainstorm.
It really is that devastating of a card. It deserves to be windmill slammed.
Yeah.
I mean, people are chattering about it possibly getting banned in Legacy.
Yeah, which would be, I think, a tragedy and a travesty.
I think I think Mark Rosewater tweeted that he's not going to ban it, or that they're not even considering it.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that, but if that's the case, I feel a little better.
I want to say that I saw it on a retweet, maybe. I'm not sure.
Huh. So Justin with a brainstorm of his own. Unfortunately, I didn't even see the table shake or anything when he windmill slammed that.
No.
It was a very gentle windmill slam, or just a windmill place. So.
For whatever reason, when I come on commentary, I always talk about the favorite arts of card. What's your favorite brainstorm art?
I like the Mercadian Masks brainstorm.
Good choice. Very good choice.
I mean, there's only two, right? I mean, just that Christopher Rush Ice Age brainstorm and the Mercadian Masks Dieter Litzy brainstorm.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I can't picture.
They come in different sets, though.
That's true. They have been.
Some people just like the whiteboarded 5th edition, like the Korean 5th brainstorms. A little financial note, are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, are they whiteboarded or they're black?
They're whiteboarded.
They're
Korean,
whiteboarded.
Korean 5th
Okay.
only came in whiteboarded.
Wow, yeah, that's not something I knew about. I'm not into the special cards. I don't even like foils. So there's a Delver from Justin. And that Delver in his resource row.
Yep.
Versus system reference.
I loved that game. That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. I played Titans. And that was just Roy Harper. It was just a good deck.
I helped a friend playtest, but he got me into it. He loaned me a deck for a tournament, and he just kind of gave me a rundown on how to play, and then I won the tournament. And he's like, Yeah, that deck's getting banned next week. It was like some ridiculous combo deck.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't even have to worry about what they're doing. Just do this.
Was it like Dr. Light? Was that? Because I think I remember.
It was
one
some
of the
equipment deck.
Dr. Light.
I don't remember exactly what you did with it. It was like an equipment deck, and you just I don't know. People who know about Versus always remember the deck I'm talking about.
Yeah, for some reason I'm having trouble remembering. It may have been at a point when I stopped playing because
Maybe.
I kind of played in waves. I played at the very beginning, stopped for a while, played again, stopped for a while. So, all right. So Peter with no answer for the Delver. Any chance we can get Peter to push his deck and graveyard forward, since we can't see much of his graveyard? And Delver appears to not have flipped.
Nope. E for 1 from the resource row.
Yeah. I think it's actually moved up into the support row now a little. It's going to reinforce some of those lands if he hadn't attacked with it.
Now they're just going to start drawing 2 cards when
Yeah,
they pass
exactly.
initiative.
Who had initiative this game?
Doesn't look like there's a lot of action coming from Peter.
No, I'm kind of surprised he didn't have an answer for the Delver, considering he hasn't really done anything else. Second Delver now from Justin. Either that or he's giving it +1/+1. Just keep making Versus system reference. He's giving it a power up. And a Nimble Mongoose. I need to get Nimble Mongoose. I need to add that to my shopping list.
Nimble Mongoose needs no power up other than the graveyard.
Where's Mental Misstep when you need it?
I like how you're actually pulling out a shopping list.
Yeah, this is a list of cards that
I'm really bad about that too. I always have to write things down.
Right, I'll just forget.
Yeah, exactly.
I should probably add it around here. I probably have a couple from in a box with like all my old Odyssey cards. Swords of Plowshares takes care of the Delver there. Force of Will took care of the Nimble Mongoose. So, yeah, I guess Peter did have some interaction in his hand. Decided to let the first Delver go, but the second Delver and the Nimble Mongoose a little too much. So, Stoneforge Mystic from Peter, and it appears Justin may
have some responses.
Yeah, he may have an answer, something to say about it.
I like the legacy games that usually take a few turns to get going.
Yeah.
Not everything's just decided in the first 30 seconds. Spell Snare.
A friend of mine and I couldn't even talk there. We're testing. We're just playing. Right, in for 1 with the Delver there. No Delver flip. We were just playing standard, and it was like blue-white control versus blue-black control.
Well, Delver number 3 comes down.
Yeah, Justin with all the Delvers.
All right, we got a blue-white control now.
Yes, it was a blue-white versus blue-black, and it was just like land go, think twice, land go, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I kind of like these matches. It's like we take like 10 turns without hurting each other, and then it's like, all right, now we go. Grave Titan, Sun Titan, Consecrated Sphinx, all kinds of stuff happening there.
It's like the control mirror. I was actually, AJ Soccer was talking to me once. He goes, "You know how to play the control mirror, right?" I was like, "You just sit there and don't do anything, right?" He's like, "Exactly."
Right. Do nothing. That's how you play Brainstorm too. Don't cast it for a long time until you have to.
I told AJ I was going to write a response article to his how to cast Brainstorm as a how to buy Brainstorm.
Oh, there you go.
I got a little chuckle out of that one.
In the meantime, Snapcaster Mage from Peter gets a Snapcaster Mage from Justin, a Spell Snare.
Force of Will.
Spell Snare for Justin's Snapcaster gets Force of Willed, removing, I believe, was it another Force? It appears like it certainly could be. It could be a Daze.
And another Force.
And Peter forces
duking
back.
it out right now.
I'm not even sure where the resolutions of these all stood. So okay, so
it
the
looks
only
like Peter won.
Resolved was Peter's, and was that?
No, wait, what? He's blocking. He blocked.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what it was. And did Peter have anything? I don't even know what he flashed back or what he just gave flashback.
He flashed back the swords, and swords to his other Delver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was happening so fast that
we got caught up in our note making and talking about verses.
Exactly. All right, so we've simplified the board state,
and down comes Nimble Mongoose.
This looks nothing like the mono green mirror we were watching yesterday. where the table was just covered in cards. Nobody could get rid of anything.
Those matches have to be a nightmare to commentate on.
It was a little tough to figure out what's going on. I mean,
something happens, you're like, I don't know what he killed.
Yeah.
I hope someone Wrath of God soon so I can talk about this.
That's pretty much what we were saying. We're like, we like the simple decks, control decks. They're simple. These aggro decks are too complicated. Jace the Mind Sculptor resolves.
That thumbs up
It's
is
thumbs
actually
up.
a thumbs down from Justin.
Yeah, Justin gives a
He
thumbs
really
up, but
meant thumbs down.
It's not good. So Jace looks like he gets the Fate Seal action going. So is Peter just going to try to Fate Seal Justin out here if he can?
Well, I imagine that Nimble Mongoose is going to be doing. Oh,
I mean, is that Snapcaster in play or in the graveyard?
that looks like it's in the graveyard.
It's in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay. For a second, I thought it was in the
from the
graveyard,
camera angle,
but the
I
other
agree.
angle looked like it was in play. All right,
He's
so
got a factory that he
Snapcaster
can start
Mage.
blocking with pretty soon. The Snapcaster Mage. Into, it looks like Ponder.
Was it a Ponder or Brainstorm? I think it might be Brainstorm because the way the color of the
no, he
card
put all
looks-
three back.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Must have been Ponder. Yep,
It
Ponder.
was a
There
Ponder.
we go.
Hey, thanks, Jesse.
Good job. Nice job, Jesse. All right, so I think Jace took a little hit there. Did he attack Jace or Peter?
He attacked Jace. He
Okay.
pointed at the Jace.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was when I was looking at Jesse, telling him good job.
I imagine around this time, and then as it goes into top 8, commentators, just like buyers, get a little bit loopy from all the lack of sleep that happens in these shows.
It certainly starts to lean that way. Try to keep things up. Definitely tough to have energy after, basically just being awake. Even when you're doing something you love doing, you just can't keep going.
Yeah, I couldn't do this stuff if I didn't love it. Like it just,
Yeah.
it's.
I
These
love
weekends are
it.
so much fun, but they are a lot of work.
Yeah.
I never
So,
knew that before I started working here. That I actually have to, wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning
Right.
and set up this event.
And then you're up until midnight or later.
Yeah.
All right, so Mishra's Factory
It's a
is
wasteland.
activated and gets a wasteland. Mishra's Factory wanted to block there, but it looks like I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how many counters are left on that Jace, but I don't think he's long for this world.
Looks like Snapcaster went at Jason, or
Yeah, because that turn I think Peter brainstormed with Jace,
yeah,
and
that's what it looked like.
that was enough to allow Justin the opportunity to take out Jace by attacking it.
It appears things are starting to look up for Justin.
Yeah. What? Say that again? Okay. So the Mongoose took out Jace by himself, and Snapcaster hit Peter. Peter shuffled away the top few cards with a fetch land there, and drew his card for the turn.
That just goes to show you how powerful this Rug Tempo deck is. Like, Peter's done everything under the sun to fight back, and if he just draws Snapcaster, Brainstorm, Ponders a couple times, and everything's okay.
Yeah, we did get a little counter war for a second, which Peter actually won the counter war, I think.
Peter scoops it up. The blue-white deck is a really, really strong deck, too. I like it a lot, but that Tempo deck is just so
it's
powerful.
Good enough to come back from a misplay like he did on turn 2, where he pondered and then passed the turn without playing his land, and then had to discard. So
while that technically would be a misplay, I feel like it's kind of unfair to label it under misplay. I feel like that's like under the nervous category.
Oh yeah. But I mean, what I'm saying is a disadvantage. Somehow he not only
huge
did he
disadvantage.
forget
Time
to play
walk.
his land, he lost a card too.
Right.
So I mean, I thought it was bad enough. Like, oh man, he's a land behind just because he forgot to play it, not because he didn't have it. But not only that, he loses a daze, and the daze could have been relevant. But Justin still ends up taking the game there. To be fair, though, we were saying earlier, Peter didn't really have a lot of action early on. He had some counter spells apparently, but it just didn't seem like he was able to really get anything on the table.
Oh, like Peter's early action is really just Snapcaster, or excuse me,
Stoneforge. Yeah.
And Geist.
Yeah, we didn't see any Geist. He couldn't resolve a Stoneforge. I think we only saw one Stoneforge attempted, and it was countered, and that was it. Yeah. Peter also playing Mana Leak. We were talking about that earlier, whether or not it should be Counterspell, and it was in the match that we watched. The Mana Leak was entirely irrelevant because he had brought in Path to Exile. I think it was against a Zoo. Yeah, I think it was against a Zoo deck, and Path to Exile comes in and actually makes the Mana Leaks worse.
Yeah. I was talking to Todd Anderson about this deck, I believe, and a lot of these lists used to play Counterspell, and they switched away from Counterspell to play Mana Leak instead.
Right.
And he said that it was worth it just to have just not have to go get a second blue every time and be able to fetch your basic planes if you need to against all the Wasteland decks. But it definitely punishes you in situations like that where you need to Path to Exile a creature and let them pay for their 1-mana spells. And
I mean, to me, I definitely like the logic of playing the Mana Leak without the Path in the deck. But when you bring the Path in, I think you take the Mana Leak out. Just I mean, unless you really don't have anything else you'd rather have there but Mana Leak. But it seemed to me, I can't remember who it was, but whoever we were watching drew both of his Mana Leaks, and his opponent had 7 lands in play. It was just they were just dead cards. They looked silly because you're thinking, well, those could be counterspells and they'd be live.
Yeah, I mean, the logic behind Mana Leak is really, really sound. Just all these decks are extremely aggressive. They use all their mana every turn, and that's why cards like Spell Piercing Daze are really good in this format.
Right.
They're just, I guess Daze is obviously better because it's free, but
it's funny. Chapin and I had this discussion on SCG Live in Denver, and he seemed to, I kept trying to say, well, Mana Leak can be better than Counterspell in certain situations where you're playing a more than a 1-color deck. You might not be able to cast the Counterspell where you could cast the Mana Leak. And for some reason, we never really finished the discussion, but he was on the side of never Mana Leak, always Counterspell. At least that's the impression I got. Now I don't know, I doubt that he's watching. He's probably watching the Pro Tour right now.
Yes, that would make sense.
But maybe he...
watching
maybe
the Pro Tour live,
me.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. He's watching the Pro Tour from the Pro Tour.
Maybe he went out to enjoy the beach.
He could be. He could be out there and with an iPad or something and watching. He could have 2 iPads and watch SCG Live and the Pro Tour from the beach. I mean, that's what I'd be doing.
Playing in the water with the iPads.
Right. Yeah. I'd probably just trade for an iPad while I was there, some people do. So, what do you think about the sideboards here? We've got, Peter has access to Path to Exile, Wrath of God. I don't know that he wants to Purify, although it is nice to react to Snapcaster Mages.
I know that one of the things the Rug deck has been doing lately has been siding into a counterbalance deck.
Yeah, and I really like that.
Yeah,
That's the Hatfields, I think, did that last week.
Yeah,
Jesse did.
I remember Drew Levin definitely had it last week because Josh Cho, they were playing, and in the middle of a match, Josh Cho walks up and goes, "Hey, whenever we're playing against this deck, do we sideboard in all the counterbalance and everything?" And Drew just gives him this death stare.
I kind of can picture Drew's death stare too. All right, so we're off, and Justin has a. I always do that. Volcanic Island, tropical volcanic island. Peter with the fetch land and a Mishra's Factory. Justin has a Misty Rainforest to add and a Sensei's Divining Top. Now Peter appears to want to mental misstep this, but unfortunately that's not in the format. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Not too good for Standard, too good for Legacy though.
Yeah, whenever you have so much selection, it definitely gets a lot better. They're both shuffling up. There's so much shuffling in Legacy. It's like
Yeah, a lot
very
of
time
shuffling
consuming just for these things.
Yeah, it seems like that's why legacy rounds seem to go to time so often. I mean, there's
Mana Leak. There's the Mana Leak.
There's the Mana Leak. All right, so he kept them in, and not only that, had it at the right time.
Yep.
So do we have it looks like fetch land spell
Spell
snare.
Snare. Yeah. More shuffling. I once saw someone playing a Blue-Green Madness deck at an extended tournament, and somebody was like, "Why are you playing Blue-Green Madness?" And he had a broken arm. He goes, "Well, this is the deck that involved the least amount of shuffling."
Hey, there you go. Well, it wasn't spell snare; it was spell pierce, but that works just
Equally as well. And still no mental misstep for Peter. Unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, no misstep.
But he does have the force. That top was very important to not resolve. I guess he fears that he turned into the counterbalance deck.
Yeah. He's really fighting the possibility of it being a counterbalance deck.
Yeah. Mishra's Factory gets in there for 2.
Peter with the early beats.
Nimble.
Nimble monsters.
The nimblest of all the mongoose. Cut him out of white and double blue here with the Wasteland. Oh, and misses a land drop. Things are not shaping up to look very good for Peter. Another Wasteland.
Oh, yeah, that's looking really grim. Missing land drops and then getting your mana base attacked.
It's another reason why the rug deck is so good. It just comes at you at so many angles.
Yeah. To play, how many Wastelands? 2? 4 Wastelands.
Yeah, it's 4 Wastelands, and a lot of those play Stifle as well. I'm not sure if this one does.
I didn't see it there.
No, this one doesn't. I guess they're starting to trim back on the Stifles. But
I feel like I saw it in an earlier list, but it may not have been. Well, it wasn't Delver. This is the first Delver list we've seen. So Peter flashes in a Snapcaster Mage in response to the Wasteland, just to get used to that mana and have a potential blocker for the Nimble Mongoose.
Well, it stops the beats from Nimble Mongoose for a little while, at least.
Not able to make use of the flashback ability.
Yeah. Until Justin's able to put enough cards in there to get Threshold.
Yeah.
He will stop the beats.
Yeah. Yeah. Nimble Mongoose is, when they did it right, Shroud, not Hexproof.
Nope, and now at the fetch land, I believe that's either that Ponder was.
Yeah. So, Snapcaster gets in for 2. So now it's a strange little race they're having here.
I feel like Nimble Mongoose wins this race.
I think it does too. I mean, unless Peter wants to add like a Noble Hierarch to the board or something, which is quite unlikely.
Justin is okay with these transactions.
Yeah, he certainly is, and not only that, but he's gonna make it worse for Peter. Delver resolve? Yes. Mongoose in? Okay. Snapcaster. What are you doing, Mega Man?
Finally got the second land. Those are always so frustrating whenever you just miss so many land drops in a row. Those are like the worst games ever.
Delver flips off of the spell snare.
Trying to decide if he wants to draw it, I guess.
Yeah. One of the cooler interactions with things, like he can reveal the top card, flip the Delver, and then respond by shuffling away the top card.
Looks like Peter has some responses.
Yeah.
Before he gets to draw.
So Snapcaster Mage, after he was released, when he was initially released, he was what, like a 10, 11, 12, well, when he was initially announced, previewed, and then he went up to about $30. He really hasn't fallen at all. He hasn't even shifted.
Yeah,
You would know better than me, but
he's going strong. I didn't have a lot to do with his pre-order pricing. I was on vacation the week he was released, actually.
Well, I'm glad it was what it was because I ordered 8 at like $12 each or something. So second Snapcaster Mage, speak of the devil.
Yeah, he was trying to resolve that one just so he's have the blockers, and he had the brainstorm so he can just go ahead and draw the spell snare.
Yeah. So Justin really has a lot of the answers here. So he draws the spell snare off the top, off of the brainstorm, and then spell snares. Now draws for his turn. And Delver and Nimble Mongoose both getting in.
I do not expect this game to last much longer.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for Peter. He's short on mana and on board presence. I mean, even if he resolves a Stoneforge Mystic, it's almost like too little too late. He's going to have to go like Mystic, that has to resolve, and then survive to drop in a Batterskull. And that's really only going to stop the Mongoose temporarily. I mean, that could get him back in. But it's, how likely is it that Stoneforge resolves and sticks?
He's in a very rough spot. Not to mention, Justin also has 6 direct burn spells that just kill him in the situation if he takes the damage.
Yeah.
Passes the turn, draws, and tanks, passes.
Well,
he's got a sword, I guess?
Swords to Plowshares meets a Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce, excuse me.
And that's it.
No.
Justin wins 2-0 versus Peter Tragos. Peter not having very good luck against Delver today.
No, not at all.
I mean, in Standard, he played Delver himself, but lost to Delver in the mirror match. And here, in Legacy, undefeated up until now. I don't know what he may have beaten several